In this movie, we'll take a look at declaring arrays. Now, what an array is basically a list of elements grouped together under one variable. So start off by opening up our actions panel and we'll write var, we'll call it my array. It's of type array equal to a new array. Now, what is going on here? Why did we define an array in this manner? Because an array is a class, and what we're doing here is we're setting a new instance of the array class and assigning it to my array variable. And what a class is basically a set of information that tells what an object is, what an object does. So my array class contains all the information that defines what an array is. And to declare a new array, we simply write new array and a set of empty parentheses to create a new instance of the array class. Now, within this set of parentheses, I will write what the list will contain. So, let's say we're shopping for computer parts. There's a mouse, and then comma, and there's also, notice that they're between quotations, so those are strings. There's also keyboard, webcam, and finally a headset. So now I have declared my array variable and set this list inside of it. I will now trace my array. And there we have it. My array elements have been traced, separated by commas on an individual line. What if I wanted to trace a single element of this array? I can simply write trace my array and then within a set of square brackets write the index of the element I want to trace. Now, one thing to note here is that the index of the first element of the array is not 1, it is 0. So mouse has an index of 0, keyboard has an index of 1, webcam has an index of 2, and headset has an index of 3. So if I want to trace keyboard, I will write trace my array and then within a set of square brackets write 1. Then Control Enter, and pretty much keyboard has been traced. There's another way to place elements within the myArray variable. So I will delete the trace statement and delete all the list I have created. Go to a new line and type myArray, and then within square brackets write 0 and set this equal to mouse. And then my array, then square brackets 1, set this equal to keyboard. And then my array 2, set this equal to webcam. Finally, my array 3, set this equal to headset. Now trace my array. We have the same result as we did before. Let's say now I have a really big list here and I don't remember the index of the last element, and I wanted to add another element to my array. There's a method called push. I can use that by writing the name of my array, which is my array, dot push, and then within parentheses I can type the element I want to push inside my array, which is CDs, for example. And now trace my array. There we have CDs has been added to my array. And if I want to know the length of my array, I can simply write trace my array dot length. So it traces 5. Remember that if the length of my array is 5, that means the index of the last element in my array is 4, because the first element has the index of 0. What if I wanted to change an element of my array, or several elements for that matter? I can do that by writing the name of my array, which is my array dot splice, and then there's a number of things I want to type here. First, the position at which I will start replacing. So if I wanted to replace keyboard, it has an index of 1, so I write 1, then comma, then the number of elements I want to replace starting from keyboard. So if I wanted to only replace keyboard, I would write 1, but I want to replace, let's say, keyboard and webcam, so I will type 2, then comma, and then the elements I want to replace keyboard and webcam with. Those are strings, so most definitely those will be within a set of double quotations. Let's say I want to replace keyboard with monitor. And I want to replace webcam by CPU. Close our parentheses and semicolon to understatement. So now trace my array. Here we have the keyboard and webcam have been replaced by monitor and CPU. There's also two more methods I want to discuss with you. The first one gets rid of the first element of my array, and the second one gets rid of the last element of my array. The first one is my array dot and then shift, set of empty parentheses, and then a semicolon. Here we have that. Here we can see that mouse has been removed from the beginning of my list. The other one, which gets rid of the last element of the array, which is in this case CDs, since we pushed CDs into the end of our array, is my array dot pop. As we can see, CDs has been removed from my array. But what if I wanted to delete a specific element in my array? You might come across something like this: delete, and then the name of my array, which is my array, and then the index of the element I want to delete. In this case, let's make it 1. You might think that this actually removes the keyboard from my array. Let me just remove this first, and this, and this, and all of this. So now we have only mouse, keyboard, webcam, and headset in our array. So if I wrote delete my array 1, you might think that keyboard will be completely removed from my array, but that actually sets keyboard to undefined. It removes the element keyboard from my array, but the length of the array is not affected. It's still composed of 4 elements, with the second element of my array being undefined. So if I wrote trace my array, you can see that keyboard has been removed, but there's still a space reserved for a second element in my array. So if I were to trace the keyboard in my array, which is my array 1, and test my movie, I will get it as undefined. That is because the second element of my array, which is of index 1, is no longer defined. I have there's a space reserved for a second element in my array, but there is no element in this space, so Flash recognizes this as undefined. There's also a lot of methods you can access in order to organize the elements of your array. I'm not going to get into that in much detail, but you can read all about it if you go to Help, Flash Help, then hit ActionScript, ActionScript 3.0 References, and under the Classes tab, go to the Array. Scroll down here, and here you will find creating arrays, inserting array elements. We've gone over all of these, and then sorting an array. Click on that. There's a well-explained paragraph here on how to use all the organizing methods that Flash has, including reverse, sort, and sort on. You can go ahead and read this. I will not be going through any of this. I'm pretty much satisfied with what I've given you so far. But, they're there if you want to check them out.